Support for the Leadoff on WGLT and WGLT.org comes from the Central Illinois Regional Airport. Passengers can access air travel from Sierra with parking at no cost and at a location close to home. More at CIRA.com.
From Olympic gold medalist to acclaimed commentator to cancer survivor, Scott Hamilton prepares to share his story to Bloomington-Normal. That's one of the things you need to know to start your day for Monday, October 13th. I'm Lauren Warnicki, and this is WGLT's The Leadoff. Now let's lead off with a new training from the McLean County Health Department meant to provide tools to help people struggling with thoughts of suicide. WGLT student reporter Cole Acano has more.
Suicide is the 11th leading cause of death in Illinois. McLean County Behavioral Health Program Manager Amy Hopper says providing options to talk about suicide is a step toward reducing that number.
Behind every number, there is a person, a family, and a community. And so we just want to equip everyday people with these skills on how to recognize warning signs of suicide, how to have an effective conversation with someone, and how to refer them to help.
The virtual training uses a technique called QPR, or question, persuade, and refer.
It has been proven to increase knowledge of warning signs for suicide and also just making people feel more confident in being able to even have a conversation or interact with someone that may be experiencing thoughts of suicide.
Hopper hopes the training will be used by educators, faith leaders, and coaches, but says anyone can benefit, including those who have had suicidal thoughts themselves.
The training gives people some skills on how to have those conversations and how to assist people, but I think also giving people the confidence that it's okay and we're not always going to say the right thing. We just want to make sure that we're being direct with people in those situations.
The training can be accessed through the McLean County Health Department website. It's self-timed, free, and takes about an hour to complete. For the Leadoff, I'm Cole Acano.
Here are some other stories we're following in the WGLT newsroom. The Bloomington City Council votes tonight on an emergency ordinance to address homelessness. The plan would give the city manager authority to issue executive orders to increase shelter capacity. The council will also consider mandating that all money it collects through its new grocery tax next year will be devoted to infrastructure. The Bloomington Fire Department would add a fourth shift under a new labor agreement awaiting city adoption. The move is intended to help the city save on sick leave and employee turnover costs. And a new report from Governor J.B. Pritzker's budget office shows the state is on track to run a more than $200 million deficit in the current fiscal year. That deficit is expected to grow next year to more than $2 billion. You can find more on these stories at WGLT.org. Olympic gold medalist skater Scott Hamilton comes to Bloomington-Normal next month. He's the keynote speaker for the 30th Annual Evening of Stars, a benefit for the American Red Cross held at the Bone Student Center at ISU. Hamilton is among the best-known athletes in figure skating, acclaimed on and off the ice for his work as a performer, producer, and commentator. He survived multiple health challenges, including cancer and a recurring pituitary tumor. And he founded the Scott Hamilton Cares Foundation for Cancer Research and Advocacy. Hamilton says it was a very complicated process getting to yes on coming to Bloomington-Normal.
I was just about to go through TSA in Nashville, and I got a call from the Speakers Bureau, and they said, "Are you available?" And I said, "Yes." And they said, "Would you do it?" And I said, "Yes." And so that was how it happened.
I imagine you get a lot of these requests. So is there anything about the Red Cross event or their mission that really kind of pushed this over the edge?
Well, it's just people that are, looking, their whole identity is to look after people. I'm talking to you right now. I'm in my foundation offices where we raise money for cancer research, immunotherapy, targeted therapies, any type of thing that treats the cancer and spares the patient is our lane. If we can find a place in our world to be sort of pouring back into the community, I think it's a life better lived. And I think the Red Cross, just by their identity, are there to help people that truly are impacted in profound ways, and they're there to help them out. And I just love that as part of their identity, or as their identity.
So I hope you don't mind me saying this, but I was little more than a toddler when you won the gold in Sarajevo. So my orientation around you and your career is very much as a commentator and as an advocate in this health space, in this cancer research and prevention space. And so for me, I think about Sarajevo as kind of the beginning of your story, whereas for so many skaters, that pinnacle moment is it feels like maybe unjustifiably feels like the end of their story. So where do you kind of see those milestones from your career along the way and how they kind of track with where you are today?
Well, it's like any skater. You fall down, you get up, you fall down, you get up. I fell a lot more than a lot of other people. I grew up in Bowling Green, Ohio. They built a skating rink so they could have a hockey team and classes. And I started skating when the rink was a year old. And, I was sick as a child and all those things. So it's just sort of these interesting milestones of overcoming limitation and overcoming devastation and overcoming, kind of obstacles that presented throughout that where I can look back and say it makes absolutely no sense that I would ever have won an Olympic gold medal. I was always the guy that came in last at nationals. I was always kind of the guy that didn't like parts of the job. I didn't like compulsory figures. And so I would always I had some ability on the free skating, and my only goal in life was to be an ice show comedian, So I knew once I got into the competitive world that if I didn't win, there probably my post competitive career would be very short-lived. So, and even if I did win, I figured if I could get 2 to 4 years out of a professional career, I was, really either lucky or fooling a lot of people. And as it turns out, from first steps to Olympic gold was 17 years. And then my touring life as a professional skater lasted 20. And for a lot of people, especially now, since the professional skating world has diminished, the Olympics is the sort of the end all be all for a skater. They don't know the former reality of using the podium as an ability to build a platform.
Figure skating icon and cancer advocate Scott Hamilton is the featured speaker at the American Red Cross Evening of Stars on November 12th at ISU. Hear more of this story later today at 5 on Sound Ideas. And before we let you go, today kicks off Homecoming Week on the ISU campus. The annual homecoming kickoff and tree lighting is tonight at 6 in Uptown Normal. That's it for today. I'm Lauren Warnicki. The show was produced by Cheyenne Brown. You can subscribe to The Leadoff on the NPR app or wherever you get your podcasts.